All right. Antonio Brown's been in the news lately for a couple of different reasons. First, we had the frostbite on his feet from the cryo chamber that he went into, not using the correct footwear to go in there. I know I read an article by Jay Glazer, who his gym has one of those chamber, and he said it gets like negative 200 and some degrees, and so you have to wear the slippers that they provide. You have to wear certain gloves, and Antonio Brown didn't do that. And so if you see any of the pictures of his feet, they look pretty bad. I mean, you got to know what you're doing. You'd hopefully someone would tell you what to do if you've never used one of those before, but you feel bad for the guy just because, I mean, no one wants to go through that type of pain. So he was battling through that and trying to still go through camp. And I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks, and the thing that really stood out to me was Antonio Brown was training and trying to get ready, trying to go through training camp. And I think this is why it makes him such a good receiver, NFL player, football player, is he is such a hard worker. And his trainer and the Raiders staff was like, hey, you need to tone it down, maybe go half speed, throttle it down just a little bit. And Antonio Brown just couldn't. He could not go full speed. And so you got to respect, I mean, you see that and you're like, yep, this is why this guy is one of the best or one of the best receivers in the NFL, is because he can't, he just has such drive and he has such a strong work ethic. But at this point, it's kind of hurting him a little bit because he's not letting his feet heal. So that was the first bit of news. The second bit of news is he's threatening to retire because he's not allowed to use his helmet. Antonio Bryant's used a certain helmet, a Schutt helmet, for his entire career. He likes it. However, it didn't pass the NFL safety protocols, and so it's banned. The NFL saying you can't wear this style of helmet. I think last year was the last season that you could wear them. From what I gather, Tom Brady also wore that helmet. He's switched. Antonio Bryant's refusing to, and he even went so far as to get his Steelers helmet, get it repainted to look like to the Raiders helmet. The Raiders saw that, took it from him, and he's refusing to play. And I get some people are like, dude, just get a new helmet. It's no big deal. This is safer. The NFL says these helmets are safer. It's going to protect you. But do you blame Antonio Brown? I mean, I don't. I think back, I only played high school football. Okay? And I had a helmet. There's a certain helmet that I liked, and we could have chose new helmets every year, and we had these other ones that are lighter, and I just didn't care for it. I liked the helmet that I had, and I felt safer with it. It was a little bit heavier, but I felt like it was going to protect me. And maybe Antonio Brown feels the same way. He likes his helmet. He likes the way it feels. He feels that it's going to keep him safe. I don't blame him at all. So what could happen? Obviously he had a 2-hour meeting with an independent arbitrator with the NFL. They're going to come out with a ruling probably at the beginning of this next week, and they're going to make a ruling. But what I say, if this is what he wants to wear, why don't you let him wear it? I mean, make him sign a waiver. Sign a waiver, get your lawyers out and say, okay, if you want to wear this helmet, that's fine. You're signing this form that if you get a concussion, if you get CTE, yada, 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 you can't sue the league. And if Antonio Brown wants to wear this helmet so bad, I bet you he's going to sign that waiver. And yeah, you want to protect your players, but if he's willing to go through this, football's a violent game. And if you sign up to play football, you know that. And he's saying, I want to play with this helmet. I'd let him. Now, the worry, though, is this going to set precedent? You let Antonio Brown do this. Now, any player is going to say, well, I want to wear, and so you don't necessarily want to set that precedent. So that's kind of the yin and the yang. Personally, I just let him use it, make him sign that waiver, and say, he can't sue the league. Get one of the best players in the NFL back on the field, and all I know is, though, if he does stay true to his word and hold out or retire or not play because of this helmet, the Raiders have got to be pissed because they just traded traded all this stuff to get Antonio Brown, and now they don't get to use him. So I think this will all settle out. I'm not too worried. I don't think he's actually going to retire over a helmet, but should be interesting with Hard Knocks there.